friends. Thank you for watching the video from Bald Eagle Flying High again. My issues are mainly about immigration policies, just like why and how to immigrate. Where should you migrate to? Those who are interested in the developed world outside and looking for immigration methods sincerely, please search and follow me, so that you can find useful immigration information about dozens of countries on my channel, and I'll continuously update the latest and useful immigration information timely. Your messages, forwarding, and following will be my greatest motivation to continue creating. Thank you all. Today's topic is the immigration policies and methods of Georgia. Full name: the Republic of Georgia. As of May 2024, the total population is more than 3.78 million, with a per capita GDP of over $7.6 thousand US. And Georgian is generally the official language. Up to now, within the total 198 countries, excluding regions, on Earth, the Georgia passport ranks 36th in the world. In terms of visa-free quantity in 131 countries, including 78 visa-free countries, 49 landing visas and 4 electronic travel documents. My personal main impression of Georgia is a member republic of the former Soviet Union, Stalin's hometown, Russia's neighbors. Georgia is a candidate for EU membership now. Have you ever been to Georgia? What is your impression of Georgia? Can you share it with everyone in the comments section? Thank you for your kindness. 1. The main methods of Georgia immigration. 1. Investment in real estate or a Georgian company. Investment of at least $300,000 US in non-agricultural real estate or a newly incorporated Georgian company. Georgia grants permanent residency to foreigners who invest at least $300,000 US in certain areas of the Georgian economy, in accordance with the Georgia law on promotion and guarantees of investment activity. According to new regulations, which came into effect on July 2, 2019, there are 2 different options for obtaining an investment residence permit, permanent residence permit, of Georgia. A. By making a personal investment in real estate, buying non-agricultural real estate, land, apartment, commercial area, etc., in Georgia, which costs more than $300,000 US. An appraisal report will need to be prepared evidencing that the market price of the property exceeds $300,000 US. The investment residence permit will initially be issued for 5 years. If after 5 years, the applicant does not sell the real estate property, they will be granted with a permanent residence permit of Georgia. B. Obtaining investment residency by making investment through Georgian company. Applicants will need to incorporate a company in Georgia and make an investment of $300,000 US in his or her company, buy real estate, issue loans, money in the company's term deposit account, etc. An evaluation report should be prepared evidencing that the amount of investment exceeds $300,000 US. For this kind of investment residency, there are no requirements for any kind of turnovers or additional conditions. Following the incorporation and investment, the investment residence permit will be issued for 5 years. After the applicant has been granted with the investment residence permit, it is obligatory that companies' annual turnover must exceed certain minimum limits. A. $50,000 US for the first year. B. $100,000 US for the second year. C. $120,000 US for the third, fourth, and fifth years. If the applicant is able to meet these criteria, they will receive a permanent residence permit after 5 years. After 10 years of continuous, legal residency in Georgia, foreigners may be eligible to apply for Georgian citizenship if they meet certain conditions, such as knowing the local language, history, and customs, and/or have married a Georgian citizen, or are engaged in economic activities considered important to the Georgian state and economy. An applicant's spouse, minor children, and incapable dependents may apply for permanent residency. Children over 18 YO and parents may apply for a temporary residency permit. Requirements: A. Documents certifying $300,000 US investment in real estate or investment in a newly formed Georgian company. B. Criminal record report from your local police agency. Documents required: A. Certificate of legal stay in the country. B. Documents certifying business investment. C. Receipt of payment of fees. D. Certified copy of passport. E. Proof of ownership or rental housing. 2. Startup or employment. Registration of a company in Georgia with a demonstrated annual turnover of at least GEL 50,000, 20,000 US dollars, or employment in a Georgian company. Georgia grants temporary residency to applicants who either register a company in Georgia or hold a minimum 6-month employment contract for a Georgian company. According to new regulations that came into force on July 5, 2019, it is now obligatory that companies registered by foreigners need to have a minimum annual turnover of GEL 50,000, around 20,000 US dollars, if they are to be eligible for temporary residency. Applicants employed in Georgian companies are also eligible to apply for temporary residence, provided that certain requirements are met. The temporary residence permit of Georgia is issued for periods of 6 months up to 6 years. Usually, the first issue is for a period of 6 months or 1 year. After the applicant receives their Georgian residence card, her spouse and children are also eligible for a TRP. Applicants that are interested in establishing a company in Georgia do not necessarily need to visit the country to do so. Using power of attorney, our service partners in Georgia will be able to handle all the paperwork and bureaucratic processes, and also make the necessary submission for applying for temporary residency. After 10 years of continuous, legal residency in Georgia, foreigners may be eligible to apply for Georgian citizenship if they meet certain conditions, such as knowing the local language, history, and customs, and/or have married a Georgian citizen, or are engaged in economic activities considered important to the Georgian state and economy. Requirements. A. For most types of business, no startup capital is required for incorporating a limited liability company in Georgia. B. Registration is only carried out once, and there is no need for registration renewal annually. C. The number of shareholders can be from 1 to 50 persons, and there are no requirements regarding having local partners. An LLC can be totally owned and managed by foreign citizens. D. Foreign employees should be registered in a company with a minimum annual turnover of GEL 50,000 per each foreigner employed. They should also have a contract valid for at least 6 months and receive a minimum GEL 1,000 per month salary. E. Clean criminal record. Required steps after company registration. F. The applicant should have minimum turnover in her Georgian company of minimum 50,000 GEL, 20,000 US dollars. G. The applicant must open her personal bank account in Georgia and put minimum 5,000 US dollars on her personal bank account and obtain an account statement. This money can be withdrawn after the residency application has been submitted. H. We will prepare all necessary documents and submit the residency application together with the applicant. I. After the applicant fulfills the obligation of demonstrating a minimum GEL 50,000 turnover in her company, we can submit the residency application, and the whole process, submitting application, getting approval on residency and collection of TR card, takes roughly 45 calendar days. During this period, the applicant can leave Georgia after submitting the application and return after receiving approval on residency. Documents required. A. Certificate of legal stay in the country. B. Documents certifying business investment. C. Receipt of payment of fees. D. Certified copy of passport. E. Employment contract. F. Documents certifying position and salary. 3. Real estate. Purchase of non-agricultural real estate in Georgia worth a minimum 100,000 US dollars. Foreign applicants who make an investment in non-agricultural real estate in Georgia are eligible for a residence permit if certain conditions are met. According to new regulations that came into force on July 5, 2019, the minimum price requirement for real estate increased and became 100,000 US dollars instead of the 35,000 US dollars it was previously. The temporary residence permit of Georgia is issued for periods of 6 months up to 6 years. Usually, the first issue is for a period of 6 months or 1 year. After the applicant receives their Georgian residence card, her spouse and children are also eligible for a TRP. Applicants that are interested in establishing a company in Georgia do not necessarily need to visit the country to do so. Using power of attorney, our service partners in Georgia will be able to handle all the paperwork and bureaucratic processes, and also make the necessary submission for applying for temporary residency. After 10 years of continuous, legal residency in Georgia, foreigners may be eligible to apply for Georgian citizenship if they meet certain conditions, such as knowing the local language, history, and customs, and/or have married a Georgian citizen, or are engaged in economic activities considered important to the Georgian state and economy. Requirements: A. Documents certifying $100,000 investment in real estate or investment in a newly formed Georgian company. B. Criminal record report from your local police agency. Documents required: A. Certificate of legal stay in the country. B. Certified copy of passport. C. Real estate sales and purchase agreement. D. Proof of ownership or rental housing. 2. Applicants' nationality requirements. 1. Restricted nationalities, European Economic Area. 2. Dual citizenship. Dual citizenship is not recognized in Georgia. To become a citizen of Georgia, you must renounce your previous nationality. 3. Dual citizenship not permitted except by special presidential decree. 3. Taxes, for reference only, cannot be construed as tax advice. Tax residents in Georgia are those who reside for at least 183 days in Georgian territory. Tax residents are only taxed on their Georgian source income. This means that income earned abroad is not subject to Georgian taxation. The flat tax rate is 20%, although dividends and interest income are taxed at a 5% final withholding tax on source and not included in the personal tax base. Rental income from residential properties is also subject to a reduced 5% tax rate, provided that no deductions are taken from this income. Capital gains are usually subject to the income standard tax rate, but an exemption may apply from gains on the sale of real property if it has been held at least 2 years. Gains on the sale of a residential property with an attached land plot are subject to a reduced tax rate of 5%. Individuals owning real estate are subject to a real property tax ranging from 0.8% to 1% on the property market value. However, households with annual income below GEL 40,000 are exempted, and those with annual income between GEL 40,000 and GEL 100,000 are subject to a reduced tax rate ranging from 0.05% and 0.2% on the property market value. In Georgia, there are no net wealth, inheritance, or transfer taxes. Gifts of a certain value may be subject to taxation. The VAT standard rate is 18%. Certain goods and service transactions are tax exempt. In the event that your business activities are 100% IT services, we can help you to obtain the status of a virtual zone company, which will provide the following tax benefits: 0% profit tax from services delivered outside Georgia and 0% VAT. Regarding corporate taxation, resident entities are subject to a 15% tax on their profits, whether derived from local or foreign sources. Undistributed profits are not subject to taxation. Finally, there is no best immigration program, only the most suitable immigration program. There are also some other contents and projects that cannot be elaborated on here due to review policies, word count, and time constraints. Interested friends can contact me, negius.ing@gmail.com, to obtain them. Also, if you find any incorrect or outdated information, could you please help guide ours? We'll appreciate you for sharing the useful knowledge. Thank you all for watching the video.